Hi, everybody. It's episode 431 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Just waiting at this point when this releases another 24 hours in order to play Pokemon. That's all I want right now is Pokemon to be released.
It's Friday, right?
Yeah.
It comes out on Friday, yeah. Yeah, so at the time of this release, which is probably about 9 o'clock in the morning-ish, I don't really know what time you actually have it set. I still won't be playing it. I'm not going to play it until 1-ish on Friday. I took Friday off, so.
Why are you going to wait so long to play?
Because my sister works in the same room that my stream setup is in. And so I'm going to be streaming, me starting it and everything else, and all story content and whatnot I'm going to be streaming. So, just as a courtesy to her, I'm going to wait till closer to the end of the day, so that if she has any work meetings or anything, she doesn't have to stay too quiet, or I don't have to mute my mic and whatnot if she's, in a meeting or talking and whatnot. So it's easier. Our company has, a thing called the Friday 5, which is the last 5 hours of the day.
That is copyright infringement.
It is the last 5 hours of the day, no meetings, just get your work done so you can leave. So, or last 5 hours of a Friday, no meetings. So, 1 o'clock, she gets off at 4. It gives me a decent amount of time where I'm not going to be too distracting to her.
I mean, that really just sounds like a her problem, not a you problem. I say start as soon as you can.
I don't want to have to worry about her being on a call and me having to mute or whatever. It's just easier this way. And
all I'm hearing honestly, are her problems, not you problems.
But honestly, it also makes it easier because then, I can go food shopping in the morning. I can get stuff done. I can maybe do some meal prep for the weekend so that...
Let's be realistic,
I plan on...
You're going to procrastinate and do none of that, and then you're going to start streaming around 4.
No, I'll be on at the latest 2 o'clock. But I plan on...
All right, you all heard it here. If he is not streaming at 2 o'clock, he owes everybody a cheeseburger.
If I'm not streaming at 2 o'clock on Friday, the 18th, and you listen to this show, and you come into my chat with the word Absol, and say that you're from this chat, this podcast, if I'm not live by 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and you do this, I will gift you a free sub for the month. For my channel.
No, Venmo them $5.
I'm gifting them a free sub.
Could you gift a free sub to a different channel instead?
No, because then that costs me money.
Oh, can you gift subs to people on your own channel?
I believe you can.
Huh.
I've seen streamers do it. There was one time somebody gifted 25 subs, but then they got hit with an ad and the streamer's just no. You're not allowed. And they gave them a sub. So I'm pretty sure you can give subs to your own channel.
Oh.
But it doesn't make you any money if you do that.
Right.
Unless they had to pay for the gifted I don't really know. I have to look it up. But them's the rules. If I'm not live by 2 Eastern on the 18th, and you come into my chat and say Absol, then I'll gift you a sub. You two are not qualified for this, though.
Now... See, that's bullshit.
Wow. Yeah.
This is just for the viewers. This is just for the listeners.
But now, you should specify daylight save, DTS or DST or EST.
EST, right? It's EST. Although we still take our daylight savings time, it's EST is still daylight savings time as well. So it is. 2 o'clock. If you were to search on Google, what time is 2 o'clock EST on Friday the 18th? It'll tell you what time it is on your time zone. You have to figure out. I'm not going to give you all the time zone shit. I don't know all the time zone shit. It's you subtract an hour 1 to 3 or add 1 to however many hours based on your time. Unless you're in Arizona, then it's it's stupid. I hate time zones.
Yeah, no, time zones are dumb, but.
Everywhere should just be the same time. Honestly, what if we did that?
It would super fuck everything.
What if we just adapted a universal time?
It exists.
Swatch internet time?
Yeah.
I guess.
It's you tell the time by beats.
And so each day it's not so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The current Swatch internet time is... Come on, search.
No idea.
Yeah, no, the website's awful.
Because, like, I mean, like, instead of me waking up at 7 in the morning, EST, I'd wake up at whatever time is just the universal time. I don't know. I'm just going off on a riff right here. Let's just not continue with this right now until I can think about it more.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. You know, it's 6 p.m. here, and it's dark now. Imagine it being 6 p.m. when you wake up.
Yeah, that's really what it would be. It'd be like it's the day, the time cycle is based on the rotation of the Earth and not based on when we would see the sunrise. So at 0 o'clock would be 0 o'clock for everyone.
It is 1589 beats right now.
Okay.
That is the current Swatch internet time.
I remember when Jeff went on, like, 2 weeks of Bombcast emails about that.
Yeah. So, you guys want to hear a fun story?
Yeah, let's hear a fun story.
So, on my way to my client today, driving on 476, and I'm in the right lane, because I'm, like, 3 miles away from my exit. And maybe, like, 100 feet in front of me, I just watch as this entire rotted tree branch that spans a lane and a half plus the shoulder just breaks off of a tree and collapses to the road and shatters into 100 pieces.
Nice.
Yeah, so my lane was completely covered with like big chunks of wood. So like I had to slam on my brakes. Luckily there's no one really like the person behind me was far enough behind me. And then like I got lucky enough that somebody in the middle lane like stopped and like flashed. And they're like, "Hey, like go ahead and get over. Like, I see what happened." Otherwise, I could have been sitting there, like, for an hour waiting for somebody to, like, be driving slow enough that I could have gotten in front of them.
Mm.
Like, it was wild. It was almost like in slow motion, too, watching that, like, tree branch just fall to the road.
Was that the Schuylkill?
Technically, no. No, not even a little bit.
Isn't that the Blue Route?
Yeah, so 476 is the Blue Route, but it's not the Blue Route yet, because I believe the Blue Route is once it turns into the Turnpike.
No, the Blue Route is what circles around the city, because it's the route that they made that was colored blue on the maps when they were deciding what route to get around the city to develop. That's why it's called the Blue Route. So when they were developing the multiple routes, like when they were trying to decide which route to build, and they decided on the Blue Route, which goes around the city from south to north.
No, it is the southernmost section of Interstate 476.
Yes. It circles from south to north until it reaches the Schuylkill. That's the Blue Route.
No.
So it is part of Montgomery County and Delaware County, and it links the Turnpike with 95. So the Blue Route is just the stretch. That's exactly
what I'm saying.
It's not, though. It does not go north and south around the city. You have to take 95 to it.
You get on from 95 south of the city, you circle around the city.
No.
I'm not saying you circle all the way around the city to get to 95 north, but it circles up towards the northeast or northwestish to get to
It circumvents the city. It does not circle the city.
It does. Look, circle. It goes in an arch. Okay, it goes around the city. That's the point of it. When they were developing that route.
So what is the other? So then what is the other name for the Turnpike north? Like the north half of 476.
Extension.
Thank you. Okay, I completely forgot what that was called.
Yeah, it's the northeast extension because that was not the part of the original Turnpike. That's relatively new. Well,
why do you know that?
Just because my dad's a truck driver and we used to go up to the Poconos all the time. Like, I know that the like that area right there is relatively not super new. Like, it's still like 30 years old or some shit like that, but it's newer than the normal Turnpike because you can get to the Turnpike by going further up, but there is the northeast extension that continues towards the Poconos and whatnot.
Yeah, like 476 is basically split. It's south of like Plymouth Meeting is the Blue Route, north of Plymouth Meeting is the northeast extension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mark it at where the Turnpike changes. Like when you have to go through the toll booth for the turnpike, that's kind of where it swaps.
That's generally when you have to. I think that's what's really considered the Northeast Extension, is that portion of the turnpike itself, and not really 476. I don't really know for sure though. I'm not. All I know is that one little trivia about the Blue Route and why it's called the Blue Route. That's really all I know.
So apparently, this whole thing was originally like planned for construction in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
And I don't know when they actually started it, but all I know is the reason they call it the Blue Route is because when they were trying to decide what route, that was the one that was colored blue on the map, and they're like, let's go with the Blue Route.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason they call it the Schuylkill, because it runs along the Schuylkill River. Like, it's Route 76.
They should color the Blue Route blue. Like, just color the road.
I mean, would you even be able to tell?
I don't know. I mean, you can see red roads.
Where do you see red roads at?
I've seen them. I don't know.
Oh, there's like a area of 95. Actually, it might be 476 that has like reddish cement.
I have never noticed that before. That's weird. I don't approve.
Roads are weird, man, because you got asphalt, and then you got cement roads, and then you got, and then that's really about it, but it's just, roads are weird, man.
Well, you're not wrong. And then trees fall on them, it's just a mess.
You gotta just, you have the worst luck with roads, man.
Just that one. Everything bad happens on that one.
How many flat tires have you gotten in the past, 2 years?
2. Too
many to count? I swear you've gotten more than 2.
No, just 2.
2 is too many.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, the last time I had a flat tire before that was your fault.
It was my fault.
Yeah. Your gravelly driveway full of fucking rusty nails and screws.
There shouldn't be any nails and screws in there.
I think this might actually predate that whole issue you had with them trying to
them trying to steal my land.
Yeah, I think this was back when it was still just one big open lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely got a flat tire parking in there one time. Yeah, asshole.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rich.
Most of that isn't my property.
Where I was parked was. But what's on the agenda?
On the agenda today, we're going to talk about a child's achievements for the first time ever. We are going to discuss Don't Worry, Darling. I guess that's a movie.
Yes.
We're going to talk about another indie film known as Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And then we're going all indie this week. We're going to talk about an indie game called God of War Ragnarok. So if you guys aren't really interested in indie stuff, I get it. Just have us on mute, but come on and hang out.
Yeah. So how about this? 10-year-old boy finally becomes Pokemon Master after 25 years.
Is he still canonically 10? He hasn't aged at all?
Maybe he's 11. He could in theory be 11, because I know in the original series, when he made it back to Pallet Town, after going through Cinnabar and everything, that loop that you do, he mentioned something about it having been a year since he left.
Yeah, but they never really celebrated a birthday at any point.
Yeah.
So, a year could be, what's the word? Just, a general term. It's been almost, it's been a year. I mean, it's not fully a year, but it's been almost a year.
Yeah, and
been
considering nobody ages in this world, it might just be a world where, people don't age the same as we do on this planet.
There's old people, though. I mean,
I'm not saying they don't age at all. I'm just simply saying they don't age the way we do.
Yeah, that's the thing. He might be older than 10 canonically, but they've only changed his character model slightly and have not made him taller or more mature looking or sounding.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is still canonically 10, and even looking back, so I saw clips of the end of this episode, and it was, it was down to just him and Pikachu, because that's what they always fucking do.
Yeah.
But they basically flashed to every friend he's ever had that traveled with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they flashed to, I forget their names, but it was the girl and her brother from the Ruby Sapphire era.
Yeah.
The girl that was modeled after the female player character in Ruby Sapphire. And then she had the little brother with the green shirt, and he would still look like he was 7. And I mean, the fact that these 10-year-olds are allowed to just go wander the world by themselves with these in some cases giant fucking monsters with magic powers, and then this kid was also allowed to take her 7-year-old brother with her. is just fucking wild.
Like, my thing that makes me laugh about this is a series that's been going on for 25 years. And they have drastically, at least over the past maybe 10 years, drastically changed the art style between seasons. Oh. Like, the Sword and Shield stuff looked different than the Sun and Moon stuff, and the Sun and Moon stuff looked different than, like, the original stuff. And, like, they have changed the art styles. That, like, and they also have changed, like, the subtitle or the headliner. Like, it was, like, Pokemon Sword and Shield or Journey's Ultimate or something like that. I don't know. I don't 100% remember. But, like, you couldn't have aged him with each new series just a little bit. Like, Digimon did that. They had a 5-year time jump between the first series and the second series.
And then when they redid it all, like, they aged up to, like, all of the original kids became adults and could no longer see their Digimon.
I just started watching that series. I'm like 1 or 2 episodes in of Digimon Adventures.
Like the original or like that new
the
redo? The
new one, the reboot, the redo.
So is it like legit like a remake of the original show?
No. The first episode is completely different.
But like I guess what I mean is like it's them as like 10-year-olds again, like starting like going to digital world.
It's them as kids, but literally the first episode has Taichi go into the digital world and meet Agumon while, like, he's getting ready to go to camp and fight some Digimon that are causing viruses and stuff. It is, so the original Digimon, they all woke up and saw the Digimon fighting in the city, which is why they were the Digi-Destined. In this one, it's different. Unless, like, they get into that later on, but in this one, like, he just went into it at one point, basically. It's different. It is different.
So I feel like I vaguely remember in like one of the movies or maybe in like the second season, they touched on like Tai maybe like had gone previously and just didn't remember it. So maybe they're like elaborating on that.
That could also be what they're doing. I don't fully remember. Like, I watched all of the original series when I was a kid. I thought about watching the original series now before doing the remake. But I was just like, that's a lot to watch, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, actually, I listened to a podcast where they watch Gundam, and they have a backup show every season. Like every season of Gundam, they also talk about like a different unrelated show. And this current season, they're watching SD Gundam, like that, like the CGI one from like the mid 2000s. Yeah. And their backup is actually Digimon Tamers, the 3rd season.
Yeah.
The one that made the first 2 seasons just like an in-game canonical like series.
Oh, yeah, it was Digimon became like I love Tamers because it's so ridiculous. It's like the canon stuff is just the lore of that, or not the lore, is like a multimedia sensation in this world of Digimon Tamers.
Yeah, they all like collect the cards and everything.
Yeah, the card game is like the biggest battle. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Digimon.
And then they end up using...
that came out before Yu-Gi-Oh! Too.
No, it didn't. Yu-Gi-Oh! Started in 1998. But yeah, they in Tamers, they use like the cards once they got their real Digimon to like power them up and shit. It's very weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I want to watch it.
It's on something, I think.
It's on Hulu. A lot of the Digimon stuff, especially, like, I don't think all of Adventures is on Hulu, but like all of the original series and the second series and Tamers is on Hulu.
Okay.
And they might go beyond that as well. I'm not sure 100%.
Well, I know one of them, they've completely fucking ruined it by, it was no longer like kids meeting like these like cool little monsters. Because that's all people wanted. They just wanted the little dudes. And they made it to where the kids turned into the digital monsters. And it's like, no, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's after Tamers. It's like the 4th or 5th series.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so Pokemon. Ash is still 10, but he is also now the world champion.
The Pokemon world champion with 1 championship win under his belt. Maybe technically 2.
He technically has 2.
Yeah, because one of them isn't like canon.
Well, so he has won 3 different tournaments. He won the Orange Island between Indigo and Johto. He technically, I believe, won the Battle Frontier stuff too, which was like its own weird season. And then he became the first champion of the Alola League during the Sun and Moon seasons.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen any of this, but the way it's worded, it sounds like so this season was like the previous season were the Sword and Shield seasons.
Yeah.
So his final battle was against Leon, the older brother from Sword and Shield with the cape and the Charizard. So like his final battle was Charizard versus Pikachu, and Pikachu turned into like a Super Saiyan and then headbutted Charizard and knocked him out.
I watched a little bit of the fight, and I'm just like, he's using the same move over and over again, which is what you do in the Pokemon game, so it's not that big of a deal. But, like, it was just Pikachu used, like, super speed or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And it was just like, do it again! Do it again! I'm like, come on.
You've played Pokemon. You have 4 moves, but you don't use 4 moves.
Yeah, look,
no,
if you're gonna use the stat increases, you fucking spam them until you're so much faster than your target that you just get like 3 attacks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did actually for the first time in 20 plus years acknowledge that Butterfree and Pidgeot existed.
Did they?
Yeah. So during the battle, Pikachu almost gets knocked out and like literally like collapses to the ground for a second and has this like little like dream sequence thing where first it's like the original 3 starters, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charizard, kind of like wake him up. And then as they pull back the camera, they show Ash's original team with, those 4 plus, Butterfree and Pidgeotto. And then it just like pans to basically like every other like Pokemon or team of Pokemon he's had through all of the series.
So his Primate showed up?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Primate was there. Even, he had a couple Pokemon, like, I think it was during Johto that like, they were never, like, his, per se. Like, he was basically watching them. The fucking Lapras that he had for a little while was there.
The Squirtle had the sunglasses on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because Squirtle left to go, like, lead the Squirtle squad in their firefighting endeavors. I think the only Pokemon that's, like, 100% still his is Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur just hangs out at Professor Oak's. I think I looked it up once. He is keeping all of the other grass Pokemon at Professor Oak's, farm, like, in line. Like, they all act up and Bulbasaur just puts them into place. But, like, Charizard is... I think Charizard is still off, like, training with the other Charizards, and Squirtle's off fighting fires, and, you know, he grabs them when he needs them, which is rare, but, like, you know.
Ash is just... He's the worst trainer, man.
So, he almost won... So, he came in second place... Like, I've looked this up before. He came in second place in... I want to say... X and Y's series? Because X and Y was the one before Sun and Moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I believe it was the X and Y series. Whichever one had Greninja as the third form of the water starter. Came in second place in that one. For like no discernible reason. Apparently like his Greninja had like special abilities, was stronger than all the others, and had a type advantage against the opponent and still lost somehow. So it was one of those, just like, the writers didn't want him to win, so they found a reason to, like, have him not win. Mm-hmm. And then he promptly let that Pokemon go.
Yeah. So, based on, in Kanto, he was top 16. Johto, he was top 8. Hoenn, top 8. Sinnoh was top 4. Then he dropped back in Unova at top 8. Kalos was 2. Alola was first place champion.
Yeah, and so, so what I was getting at before, I got the impression that in the current one, it wasn't just a regional champion, like it wasn't just like the Johto League. No. He is the world champion.
Yeah, he's the world champion, but I feel like he's the world champion as much as the what's the team that just beat the Phillies as the world champion? Like, it's only one area that considers them the world champion. Like,
the Astros?
Yeah, was it the Astros that they played?
I mean, they are the World Series winners for the Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah. So the World Series winners, so they're the world champions of baseball.
But if this was the World Championship for the Pokemon League, then, like, it counts.
But it's the World Championship for the Pokemon League in the same sense that the World Series is the World Series. Like,
but,
you get what I'm saying?
So we don't know how many Pokemon Leagues there are, because in all of the regions, all the Pokemon Leagues are connected. It's not like where, like, we have the MLB and then Japan has their baseball league. Like, every region that Ash goes to, the Pokemon League is the Pokemon League.
Oh, is it though? Like, why does he always have to get new badges each time then? He's got 8 badges. He has now 1 million badges. Why would he have to get new badges each time?
Why do the Phillies have to play through the playoffs every year if they made it to the World Series this year? Why shouldn't they just get a free pass?
No, it's a new season.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You just answered your own question. It's a new season.
It's not seasonal. The Pokemon League isn't seasonal.
Yeah, it is. It's yearly.
I mean, it's seasonal. It's seasonal and regional. Like, he couldn't go get his badges in the Sinnoh region and go to Johto and fight, can he? No, it's
because
seasonal.
But those badges are unique to that particular region. It's like the AL versus the NL,
which means that they're not interconnected. They're regional. It's all regional.
Yeah, it's regional that then leads to a larger championship.
In the, I want to say Paldea, but that's the new one. In the, what's the region? Shit.
Galar?
In the Galar region, which has its own league and its own badges.
But you have to keep in mind, we don't know how this one actually ran, because like the Sun and Moon one apparently was nothing like it did it in the games. Like in the Sun and Moon season, he was at a school the whole season.
Mm-hmm. I think there was a school in Sun and Moon, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was, but you don't, like, take part in it, really. Like, you very quickly just fuck off and go on an adventure.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
But this was like, Ash had a home and went back to the home each night.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't do that any other time. Like, the boy just fucking sleeps in the woods or at a Pokemon Center. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's 10 years old and he's just fucking living on the street. Let him have this win.
I don't know. Look, I'm not taking the win away.
You're trying to.
Like, one thing I was trying to say earlier, like, he has one championship under his belt and was invited to the world champions. Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
If all of the champions get to go to this, then that would make sense.
There's that. Also, think about it like, fighting combat sports. Like, you just have to win one fight to become the world champion. Like, if you get a match against the world champion and beat the world champion, guess what? You are the world champion now.
Yeah, like, Clubber Lang was not the next in line for that fight, but Rocky accepted the challenge and lost the championship to him. And then he had to go get the Eye of the Tiger and fucking come back and put Clubber Lang in his place.
Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. It's I don't know.
But, like, also, you're saying he has one championship. The boy has, like, 4. Just most of them apparently don't count.
Yeah, well, that's the point. They don't count. Technically, the only one that counts is the Alolan League.
It's funny because, like, Battle Frontier, Pokemon doesn't, like, the canon for Pokemon isn't the same as, like, us, because, like, technically the games are based off of, or the manga is closer to the game story than the anime is. But, like, in the Battle Frontier, which I think took place between Ruby Sapphire and Diamond Pearl, that motherfucker beat an Articuno and the fucking Reggies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to become champion there. Like one of, like, the gym leader guys, whatever they were called, had an Articuno that, like, he had to fucking call Charizard to fight. And then the final one had all 3 Reggies to fight. And he went up against them with his fucking Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charizard. Because he's a fucking lunatic. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Pikachu's level, like, 300 right now. Like, he somehow broke the level cap.
That's the thing. I hate Ash, man. I really just hate Ash. He's a good lead character because he's got heart, but he's a bad Pokemon trainer.
But, like, did you see his team for this season? Like, the team he had to, like, win?
No.
So he has Pikachu, Lucario, which he apparently, like, got as an egg. He has a Dragonite, a Gengar, a Dracovish, one of, like, the fossil, like, combined Pokemon, and another dragon type. Was it a Goodra?
Probably.
Of course, like, when you search Ash's team, it doesn't show you the newest team.
Right.
Oh, a Sirfetch'd. So he's got a Dragonite, a Sirfetch'd, Pikachu, Gengar, Lucario, and a Dracovish.
A Lucario that he got from an egg?
Yeah, like, he hatched an egg. It was a Riolu, and he evolved it.
Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. Never mind, that makes sense. I was thinking for some reason I was thinking, when you said Lucario, I was thinking, what's the fucking white bird Pokemon?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
The legendary.
Oh, Cresselia? Cresselia?
No.
Lugia?
Lugia, yeah. So when you said Lucario, my head went Lugia for some reason. Like, cause you were like, that apparently he got from an egg, which threw me off. Like, well, yeah, of course he can get a Lucario from an egg. But when you said that with
Right.
Lucario, my head went, legendaries don't come from eggs because there's only one in the world, supposedly.
But no, we know that
Yeah,
there's
it's
more than
weird.
one Lugia.
Do we, though?
Yeah, because there's Lugia from Pokemon 2000, the movie, and then there's Lugia from the Johto Journeys that, I believe had like a baby.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Pokemon is too much to follow.
It's
And
only
I watched,
like 900 episodes. If you start now, you'll finish in no time.
Pokemon is too much to follow, and I watched all of the Zordon era Power Ranger series. So that's saying a lot.
So when are you starting Pokemon?
I mean, I still have so much Power Rangers. I never even went into like Lost Galaxy and shit like that.
But like, when are you starting Pokemon is what I'm asking.
Maybe if I get through all of, I might do the new series that he won. I might just watch that to see him win, because the first half of it's on Netflix.
Yeah, and this half will be sometime in the future, according to the news.
Yeah.
Last thing to mention about that whole thing, it was a big enough deal that they live streamed it in Shibuya Crossing in Japan.
That I kind of hate that they did that.
Why?
I love that they did that, but would you do that if he was going to lose?
I mean, that's fair.
That's kind of a spoiler in and of itself, that they're going to live stream his win in Shibuya Crossing for everyone to see. Obviously he's going to win then. Like, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't put that money out to watch people watch him lose again.
It's the Pokemon Company. They can just throw money away.
No, they absolutely have all the money in the world, but like I said, I love that they did it, but I also hate that they did it because it's kind of a spoiler. Like, oh, nothing bad is going to happen here then.
I mean, it's also Pokemon.
All going to work out for him.
But what if he did lose? That would have made it even better.
Right?
That would have been fantastic if they did that.
And look,
What if they had like an ongoing what if they simulated the match somehow and like had an AI generated simulated match where they didn't even know how it was going to end until it ended?
I mean, that would actually be kind of interesting.
There is AI technology for that. They definitely could have had some sort of AI technology for that. Like, that would be awesome. But honestly, Pikachu would lose to fucking Charizard.
I mean, not necessarily, because again, Pikachu is capped.
But I'm sure Leon's Charizard is also capped. It's Leon's Charizard.
I doubt it. Like,
Hey, flying is weak to electric.
That's true.
Is Charizard flying?
Yeah,
He's flying
fire
fire.
flying. Always
When
has
did they-
been.
I mean, when they added double typing, he became fire flying.
He literally has always been fire flying.
Did
Yeah,
they do double typing in the originals?
Yeah.
yeah, most grass Pokemon were grass poison.
Okay. I thought he
Also,
was
the
just
legendary
fire back
birds are also all whatever slash flying.
Yeah, I think the only one that's technically not weak against any electricity is Zapdos, because he basically cancels it out. But yeah, that's always the complaint is there are some Pokemon that don't look anything like a dragon, that are dragon type, and Charizard, which can learn Dragon Rage and looks like a fucking dragon, is not a dragon type.
Yeah. Unless you got Pokemon
Oh,
Sun
yeah, if you X and Y.
and was it X? Oh, no, it was...
No, yeah, it was
X and Y.
It was Charizard X and Charizard Y. The black and blue one was dragon type.
Yeah, it was X and Y. I wasn't sure if it was X and Y or Sword and Shield, or not Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon. But Sun and Moon was the dance moves.
Yeah, was that Mega Evolution was X and Y. What the fuck did they? Z moves. They were called Z moves.
Yeah, it was Z moves in Sun and Moon.
Which is funny. They were called Z moves in the thing that's not about the letters X and Y.
X, Y, and I guess
They never released a third iteration. That generation, they did the remake of Ruby Sapphire instead.
Yeah.
Because everyone figured there would be a Z because there is that Z Pokemon, Zygarde or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Well, real quick, I did. I also watched the clip. I saw Charizard's name in Japan sucks.
Yeah,
It's so much lamer.
dude. Most Pokemon names in Japan not nearly as cool as the American ones. There are a few instances where
What isn't
It's Lizardon. Like
isn't like the translation for Snivy, like, isn't it Smugleaf? Like, isn't that the translation for it?
I think something like that. But yeah, a lot of the Pokemon, like, Japanese names, like, in Japanese, they probably sound cool, but their translations are distinctively not.
Yeah, like, I'm sure whatever yeah, like, it sounded fine, but, like, Lizardon is, like, just so lame.
Anyway, have either of you guys heard about the movie, Don't Worry, Darling?
Nope.
No.
So, it's it's relatively recent, like, I think it came out back in, like, late August, and it's on HBO Max now. It's got, Florence Pugh and, Harry Styles from that, the boy band.
Okay.
This is the one where, like, production was absolute garbage and, like...
Right, with,
no one
with
was happy
Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, and no one at all was happy, during the creation of this film. And it's like, that's why, like, there was that meme where did Harry spit in,
did he spit
Chris
on Chris Pine?
Yeah, did he spit on Chris Pine and stuff like that? Like, apparently no one from that movie likes anyone from that movie right now.
Oh, that's always fun. But it was a weird fucking movie. So it's one of these, everything appears to be, like, in the, like, golden 1950s sort of thing. And it's this idyllic world, but this idyllic, like, neighborhood in the desert of California. Like, they're basically in a desert valley, like, with mountains on either side of them. As far away from civilization as they can be. All the men work for this company, and it's basically set up where, like, the town is like a company town. Like, everyone that lives there works for this company. And the men go to work every day, and the women just basically stay home and clean and shop and like, do the stuff that like, is quintessential with the 1950s, like, lifestyle ideals. And as it goes on, it just gets weirder and weirder, and it ends up having, like, a twist at the end. And it was one of these where, like, spoilers for Don't Worry, Darling, because I doubt either of you guys are ever going to watch it. From the very beginning, you get the impression that they are not in the 1950s, that, like, it is, like, present day or in the near future, and they are in some sort of, like, compound or, like, so, like, The Village, like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, where, like, it was actually 2003 and they were just living in the woods like it was still 1692. So, like, you get to the end of the movie and it turns out it actually is, like, 2022, but they're not in, like, some compound. They're in virtual reality, and all the men have basically kidnapped their, like, wives and girlfriends or just people that they were attracted to, and have them hooked into this VR thing with their brain, like, their memories basically wiped so they don't realize what happened. And occasionally somebody will, like, basically see through the Matrix and, like, wake up, and then they basically do electroshock therapy to them until they forget everything again. And, like, super fucking twisted at the end there. But, like, interesting enough, I guess is the right way to put it. I don't know that I would ever watch it again. In fact, I wouldn't watch it again because there's literally zero reason to. But, like, the cast all actually did a really good job. Like, the cast made you, like, want to know, like, what the fuck was really going on. Because, like, even before the twist, like, you knew there was something going on. Like, everything just seemed a little too weird. And, like, that twist was at least the most unexpected way it could have gone. Like, I didn't expect the whole thing to just be, like, a virtual construct. I expected it to be, like, just, like, a weird cult thing or whatever. But yeah, like, we mentioned a bunch of people already, but, like, Chris Pine was, like, the guy in charge. Like, he was the one that was running this whole thing and was, like, recruiting people to it. The impression you get at one point is he was basically doing, like, a podcast or some sort of, like, radio thing, in that very, like, evangelical Christian sense of, like, oh, everything in the world is wrong because we don't have the values we had before. And then, like, the people that are the most into it are the ones that he manages to, like, convert into this weird world. And he lets the men basically pick whatever their ideal, like, situation is. Like, Harry Styles' character is, like, a random American guy, but in this world he wants to be British. So, like, he talks with his British accent through it. But anytime like, the couple of times they show, like, the real world, he's, like, this, like, pathetic, like, dirty, like, American guy who, like, has no job and is useless.
How good was his American accent?
You know what? He didn't talk in an American accent that much, but, like, it wasn't bad. I actually thought, so at the beginning of the movie, I thought he was speaking in an American accent. But like that he was really bad at it and his British accent kept coming through. And then at one point in the thing, they make reference to him being British. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he's actually supposed to have a British accent. Never mind. And then when it shows you like what actually is going on, I'm like, oh, well, that's weird. Maybe he was making it sound kind of bad on purpose.
That's the only reason I sound like, he probably has a bad American accent, so they just decided to say he's British just so that he doesn't have to use an American accent.
It's possible. I mean, do you remember when he showed up in Eternals?
Yeah, at the end of Eternals, I don't remember if he had an accent or not.
I don't either. I'm sure he did because they all fucking did, because every one of them was fucking British. Or Angelina Jolie.
I mean, if you're from space, you're British. Yeah, obviously.
I mean, look, you have to sound fancy.
Yeah,
and like we all know Australian's not fancy enough. That's why Hemsworth has to talk with a British accent.
Exactly. But could you imagine Thor talking with an Australian accent? That would be beautiful.
Oh man, that would be good. But yeah, actually, you don't really think about it. Yeah, most of the people that are like actually from space, that like are any sort of like important, have a British accent. Like the Guardians don't count because they're all like a ragtag group of like scumbags. So they're all American. But
well, it's they all have a general accent. Like if you're from space, you have some sort of general accent. Except for like, I mean, it does play. It depends on your character's origins. And I say Gamora doesn't have an accent because she's got all the machines in her that corrected her accent.
Well, she does have that like robot-y voice though too.
Does Gamora have like a robot voice?
Like it just sounds like it's almost auto-tuned a little bit.
I know Nebula has the auto-tune.
Oh shit! Yes, I'm sorry. I'm getting Nebula and Gamora swapped in my head.
And then like you got Batista, his accent is he just doesn't understand puns and whatnot, so that's his thing. So like they all have something. You got Rocket, who's from New York. So
yeah, only he's never been to Earth before.
Yeah.
But it was one of those movies where like I wasn't offended. I watched it afterwards, which is always a good thing. But like I looked up like the what like reviews it had gotten, and it definitely got mixed reviews because like that whole trope of like Stepford Wives Village sort of like twisty ending. It's been done to death, and while this one did it slightly different, it was still that. But like I said, the cast was interesting. Like
yeah. I've not really heard a lot about the movie itself. Like I said, I really only heard that there's a lot of bad press around the movie and around the actors having bad press around each other. Which is like I was just like, all right, I'm probably just never gonna watch that movie.
Yeah, it was Olivia Wilde's second directorial film because she had done that movie for Hulu, Booksmart.
Yeah,
which like was really good and like got like really good reviews and all that. So apparently, I read after I watched it, there was like studios had like a bidding war for like to like have her next movie essentially, and then this came out to like mediocre reviews, and it seemed like it went out of the theaters fairly quickly. So, but not too bad. But Rich, you saw all of Wakanda Forever.
Yes, I did. This is I'm not a fan of it. I thought it was a fine movie. I thought it was decent. I thought it was good, to say the least. But, it was nowhere near what I was expecting. It was way too fucking long. Way too fucking. So many stupid storylines. Or actually, good to say the most, not good to say the least. It was good to say the most. Like, at best, it was good. It's just, it's still probably not my most hated Marvel film, but I will likely not sit down to watch this movie again.
I mean, at 3 hours, it is too long to watch more than once.
Ooh.
It's 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Close enough to 3 hours.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, 2 hours and 45 minutes. They could have easily cut 45 minutes out of it if they avoided some stupid storylines. And I stress stupid storylines. They tried to put way too much in this with the dealing with T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman, introducing the villains, introducing the strife with the world, introducing Riri Williams, and her whole deal, and then, like, putting it all together. Like, this movie is 100% an Oscar candidate. 100%. It's an Oscar candidate. It's a long movie with not a lot happening and very boring.
You know what? I don't think it will be.
It won't be because it's a superhero movie because they have maybe 20 minutes of superhero stuff in it. Like, it is, if they took out Black Panther and made it a war movie, it would be Lincoln. Like, and I'm not saying it would actually be Lincoln. I'm just saying, like, it would be very much an art piece and an Oscar runner type of film. And for me, I found myself bored a lot.
Yeah, like I said in chat with you guys earlier, like, I saw a little more than half of it, and, like, it's too long. A lot of the stuff was boring, and, like, I found myself, like, kind of wanting the movie to be over. But, like, I thought they did a good job with Riri Williams, except, like, they kind of glossed over a lot of her.
Well, she's getting a series.
Yeah, but it's one of those, it's like, why introduce her this way and do it kind of, like, half-assed if you're doing a series? Like,
exactly.
I would have preferred if they introduced her in the series and then had this spin out of that and, like, have her be, like almost like Kamala. Like, have a series where, like, you meet this character in her setting, and then have it be, like, you know, stuff's going on at Wakanda, and they discover that, like, somebody built that thing that they built. And then like, when they go to find out who it was, it's like, oh, it's this girl from this series that if you watch the series, you know who she is already. If you didn't, like, go watch the series.
But if you didn't watch the series, you get a little introduction of the character, and then boom. Like, but you know what this movie would have been really good as? A series.
See, I don't think it had enough to do that.
I think it had more than enough to do a series. A 45-minute, maybe 6 or 7 episode series. It had more than enough. They could have ruminated on things a little bit more. They could have expanded a little bit more on what happened with T'Challa, and they could have built up on things, and it would have actually made it better. Like,
see, I disagree. Like, I think that they needed to just cut things out of this.
Oh, absolutely. They needed to cut the CIA out of it entirely. The CIA has nothing to do with this movie. All of the Ross stuff, or Martin Freeman and Julia Louis-Dreyfus stuff, that doesn't need to be there.
Honestly, like, the Martin Freeman stuff, like having him part of the movie works because he was part of the first one. He has a connection with them. But yeah, everything else that kind of went along with that seemed it didn't make any sense. All they needed was that one scene where they go ask him for information, and, like, he could have just simply been in contact with them after that, and, like, that's that.
They didn't need the car chase after they, the CIA chasing Wakanda out of Riri's workshop. They didn't need that.
No, they could have done away with that and just had it be,
they're driving, and then they get attacked on the bridge by the, I can't remember the name of it. I keep wanting to call them Atlanteans.
They are Atlanteans in the comics. Like, Namor is the king of Atlantis.
They gave them a different name because probably
Aquaman.
DC as well as, like, maybe their origin is a little bit different from what the series or from the comics, so they wanted to use more of their origin identity because they're like South American descent and not. And I don't know what the Atlanteans are in the comics.
I am pretty sure it is not that at all.
Yeah.
It was like that. I thought that whole bit was interesting, at least. Like, they fleshed out like the quote unquote villains in a way that, like, the Marvel movies don't usually, but, like, not quite enough in the right direction.
Here's my biggest problem with the inclusion of the CIA and the entire world strife of, Wakanda's not giving us vibranium. The boat gets attacked by the Atlanteans. You know this is a government-funded, government-held boat with high technology that has good fucking cameras, but they can't tell that these people that are swimming in the water in the middle of the ocean are fucking blue and not Wakandan. But they blame Wakanda on that.
Well, so keep in mind, everyone was dead, and, like, no one survived the thing. Ross said that.
No one survived it, but they knew it was there. They knew it got attacked, meaning somebody went to the ship.
Yeah, but no one would have seen the Atlanteans after the fact.
It has security cameras. 100% it has you saw security cameras. You saw the people jumping off the ledge on security cameras.
Yeah, and like, bear with me here. It was nighttime on those things, like...
You could tell the people were... I'm sure you could tell that the people were blue, or at least not Wakandan. They were not wearing Wakandan clothes.
But also, like, does the CIA know what the Wakandans wear when they're on a mission?
It's a weak story, Cobb. Come on.
Look,
it's a weak story beat.
I agree with you, but like, considering the Wakandans have come out and said that they are the only ones that deal with vibranium, and then that U.S. base gets attacked when it finds vibranium, like, that is the most logical assumption, is that Wakanda did it.
I disagree. I felt that, like, the World Against Wakanda storyline was just weak. It was so weak. And, like, I thought it was just weak.
No, like, that is our world, though. That is 100%. If we suddenly found out that there was a mega power out there that could just completely destroy any country in the world with just, like, a thought, like, that's 100% what would happen. Because, like, you figure Wakanda's technology is more advanced than anything anywhere else, and they have this metal that is more powerful than anything else. Like, that is like, that whole thing where France, like, tried to infiltrate their thing, that's exactly what would fucking happen.
It exactly would happen. And, like, she flat out said, we're not gonna take we're not gonna give you, but we're not gonna, if you can find it somewhere else, you can find it. She flat out said, if you can find vibranium somewhere else, then it's all yours. But we're not giving you our supply. So why would they say that and then turn around and attack somebody who had vibranium? They have no need. They have an entire fucking meteorite underneath their city. They don't need to attack people for a small amount of vibranium. It was a bad story beat. And because that, which then involved the CIA, and the CIA going after Riri Williams, and then all of the CIA shit, like, it added too much to the movie, too much time to the movie. They could have cut that out and made it a better film by just condensing it.
So I agree it added too much with the CIA, but, like, I think the world thought it was Wakanda, like, that tracks. Like, I don't think that was a bad story beat. And then Atlantis basically, like, going after Wakanda for not siding with them, like, also works.
And then, like, my thing, like, I can get behind, Namor's, like, motivation, but, like, not exposing himself to the world, saying, hey, this is ours, and just expecting the world to live by his rule, without it saying, like, hey, don't attack our shit, like, or don't come take our stuff. That's a little...
No, like, that is 100% Namor. Like, that is him in the comics also.
Yeah, that's him in the comics, but it's, to me, I'm just like, alright, well, you're gonna get mad at people for taking something they don't know is yours. You need to let them know it's yours, so they don't take it. No, I want you to let them know it's mine. Like, I didn't like it. Like,
that is also how the world works. Like, that is very real world of, you know, somebody is not going to admit it's theirs, but it's theirs, and they're going to attack you if you try to take it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, man, the movie was too real. It's just too real.
I was fucking bored in a superhero movie. There was maybe 10 minutes of superheroing in this superhero movie. I might be under-exaggerating a little bit.
There was not enough of M'Baku either.
There was not enough M'Baku. I mean, and look, I also am a little biased because I do not like Letitia Wright, so I'm not happy with Letitia Wright, like, with all of the outcome of that movie with her. But it's what happened, so it's what happened. They tried to build it to be very emotional, and I didn't get emotional till the end with the mid-credits scene. And that's just, yeah.
Well, that's just because you're a heartless monster.
No, I'm not heartless. It's just, it like, the intro with T'Challa, like, it felt too rushed.
I mean, like, that intro really didn't work the way they did it, because it's like this, everyone going in knows what happened, and, like, they should have just opened with the funeral.
Yeah, like, if they had opened with the funeral more so than, like, her trying, like, it was building her character for sure, which I really don't think they needed to do, because you knew she would do anything for her brother.
Yeah, like, they could have flipped it, though, and had it not feel so forced by having the funeral and then having her go back to the lab and, like, trash stuff the way people do in, like the very cliche, like she doesn't know how to grieve, so she... Because then it would have just been, like... Because it could have been that scene followed by the scene of them going, doing something else. This way you... Sorry, go ahead.
It could have even been, like, they show the funeral, and then when she's going to try to recreate the plant later on in the movie, they could have stuck that scene right there instead.
No, like, at that point...
And, like, had her think about it and remember it and flash back and forth between that scene and what was going on in current day.
I mean, they could have done that, but, like, I don't think they needed that actual scene. I think they just needed a scene to show you that she had been trying to do something to save him and failed. Just so you know that, like, she is... It's not just that she is sad that she lost her brother. She is sad because she thinks she failed her brother.
She's blaming herself for having lost her brother.
And, like, because of that scene, they didn't have time to actually do, like, a proper, like, everybody getting ready scene. So you got a very half-assed rushed, like, her getting her shit together while Riri was also getting her shit together. Like, the fact that, like, we got, like, we got a quarter montage for her building the Ironheart armor is, like, fucking disappointing. And also, like, the fact that her Ironheart armor looks like fucking Iron Man armor and she has no connection to Tony Stark makes zero fucking sense.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense more in Iron Man, or in the comics, because she reverse engineers the Iron Man armor to create her armor.
And her initial armor doesn't look like Iron Man armor. It actually looks more like Mark 1 armor. It's not until she meets Tony Stark and he kind of gives her resources that she is able to create a suit that, like, looks like an Iron Man armor.
Yeah. It's just, like, yeah. I'm trying to think, because, like, the thing that, there's so many suits of armor, and I feel like they went a little overboard with the CG to where, like, some of it just looked really bad. I thought, like, what was the last thing you remember? What do you know about the movie that I can talk about?
I saw Shuri in the suit.
I think that suit looks like garbage, and I think anytime you see her move in it, it looks like garbage.
So I didn't really see her move in it too much, other than, like, her falling out of the sky.
Mm-hmm. And like, there's a whole... You saw a lot more than I expected. You were more than halfway through. You had, like, a half hour left.
There's about an hour left. That's how long that movie is.
Jesus Christ. If there was an hour left after she creates the armor, Jesus fucking Christ. Are you kidding me?
No.
An hour left after she creates the armor?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a long fucking fight.
Yeah.
Jesus. But I just didn't like how she looked, and the fact that everyone got armor. Like, okay, and somebody else got the armor that she was working on in the beginning of the movie, the blue armor, and I thought that looked not great.
Which that was, like, the running joke in the movie.
Yeah. And it's just like, a lot of the CG just didn't look great in the end.
But Namor had the wings on his ankles and used them to fly.
Ankles. Yeah, that worked. Like, Namor was cool. This is the first time I actually really liked a villain. But
I don't know. Killmonger was a good villain.
Killmonger was also a good villain that they killed, so I don't bring him up.
Well, they kill all of the villains.
Yeah, well, they didn't kill Loki.
But they have. They've killed him like 4 times. He just keeps... He's the only fucking one that comes back.
Yeah.
Like, they spent a decade building up to Thanos. They killed him. Twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Twice in one movie. But yeah, it's just... my overall feelings for Wakanda Forever was... It's not... In my opinion, it's not the worst Marvel. But it's also not a superhero. And onto your point about how, like, you guys had bad parents at your theater, at your viewing. I don't 100% blame the parents as much as I also put a lot of blame on Marvel for advertising this non-superhero superhero.
No, this was 100% on the people, because the fucking bitch, when she sat down, they got there late, and then the first thing she does when she sits down in her seat is she pulls out her fucking phone and starts playing on it. And then the whole movie, the fucking parents were also turning around because they were with a group in the row behind them, fucking talking to the people in the row behind them. And then letting their kids fucking run between the rows to, like, bring popcorn and shit back and forth.
But I wouldn't, if I had known that this movie wasn't going to be very superhero, if I had kids and I had gone into this knowing that it wasn't very superhero and it was a boring movie, I wouldn't bring my kids to see it.
Yeah, but like...
And Marvel advertised this movie as a Marvel superhero movie, and it should not have been. Because there is a lot of uncaptivating shit going on in this movie that children are not going to care about.
I mean, you're not wrong there, but like the adults were as bad or worse than the kids in most cases.
No, I like I said, I'm not taking blame away from them, but I am adding a little bit of blame towards Marvel as well as the theater for not handling it better.
Yeah, no,
and not calling them out sooner.
Yeah, so I went up and complained. They sent somebody in who I told them exactly what fucking seats the people were in, and then the person who came in to check went to the other side of the fucking theater.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, when I went out a second time, I'm just like, I just want a refund. Like, can I talk to it? Like, I wasn't mean to them, because it's not, like, the theater workers part, but I'm just like, can I talk to a manager? Like, this is fucking ridiculous. To the point where, like, they apparently did send somebody in after that, and, like, actually said something to these people for being, like, the fucking worst. To the point where, like, the one dude actually came out and fucking started yelling at us for leaving, basically. And then, like, this guy was such a piece of shit, he went outside to wait for us. Like, I literally asked the manager at the movie theater if there was an officer there to walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, he was pacing back and forth like he was going to fucking try and start something.
Jeez.
And, like, he was a fucking adult with 3 fucking children.
Yeah.
And, like, did not say anything. Like, I asked them to be quiet, like, 4 fucking times. They didn't do it. And then I just said, all right, I'm fucking enough. And I went out and got a refund. And, like, he comes out and yells at us. I'm like, dude, I'm getting a refund. Why don't you just go back to your movie? And he just kept yelling at us. Like, he was a complete fucking piece of shit. Like, him and his whole family were some of the most ignorant pieces of shit in the world.
Yeah.
They brought a toddler to a fucking movie. Like, you don't bring a fucking baby to a movie, period. Like, don't bring a fucking baby to a 3-hour movie.
Did they know it was 3 hours, though? I didn't know it was 3 hours, so
Every Marvel movie is at least 2 hours. Don't bring a fucking baby to a 2-hour movie. There's a reason there is a reason children's movies are under 90 minutes.
There's a 2-hour, like, again, it's not a superhero movie, which is really a lot of the problem with this.
Look, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old that can be, like, captivated by, like, all the flashy stuff on the screen with a superhero movie, sure. This child was under the age of 2. Like, that child was not watching anything. They did not care about the movie from the very beginning. Like, don't bring a fucking toddler to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with, like, young kids being in the movie as long as, like, they behave themselves. But again, like, to your point, Rich, like, yes, like, this movie was not good for children. But, like, no movie in a theater that is more than 2 hours is good for a toddler. Like, that's the parents wanted to go see the movie and they didn't give a fuck about anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. It sucks that you had to deal with that, and it sucks you have to go sit through that movie again.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, honestly, like, it'll probably hit Disney Plus sometime in, like, January. We're just gonna wait for it then. Like, I did not, I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than you did, at least, like, up to where I saw. But, like, I was still bored. Like,
yeah.
I checked, I was, like, holding my phone, like, in my pocket to, like, check the time a few times. I'm just like, wow, it's only been an hour. Yeah. I feel like I've already been here for 2.
Yeah, it was boring.
And, like, a lot of, like, the reviews and stuff were, like, pointed out that, like, they, whatchamacallit. They were basically saying that, like, it was kind of pulled apart into too many pieces. Like, or not pulled apart, but, like, they were trying to cover too much ground with, like, paying honor to Chadwick and telling a story and, like, all the stuff that, like, we've both been talking about. And, like,
yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Like, they tried to do too much in too long of a time. Like, if they had, if they wanted to build up this whole big thing, like, and do all the levels that they wanted to do, they needed more time, but also less time. Like, like you said, they didn't give enough of, like, a suit building montage or anything like that. They didn't give us enough about Riri Williams. Like, that in and of itself needed more time. But then they gave us too much of the fucking CIA doing stupid shit that just fucking stupid. And it like, they could have made some of the stuff that I thought just really didn't need to be there more worthwhile if they had split this up into like a 5 to 10 week series and just expanded on it. Gave us a little bit more about T'Challa passing and not just literally. I think his funeral ends within the first 3 minutes of the movie, and then they cut to like the homage of all the Black Panther and T'Challa scenes in the Marvel headliner. Like he gets 3 minutes, and then the next hour and a half is grief on his death.
Yeah,
and it's like I get it. It's been a year, and you have to grieve, and I've lost family members. I understand grieving. Like,
you don't though, because you're a heartless monster.
No, I 100% get it, and I still grieve to this day. But it's just like, I came here to watch a superhero movie
because you're a heartless monster.
No, I came here to see a superhero movie because it's a superhero movie. They advertise, like, I'm 100% saying they advertise it as a superhero movie, and they shouldn't have.
So, I'm going to be honest, I have not seen any advertisements for this. Like, are you sure it was advertised as a superhero movie?
Anything I saw for, like, for this movie was about, like, you see Black Panther in it, you see the fights in the ads. They had the first one that was, like, the song, and it was, like, an emotional trailer. But beyond that, like, it was fight sequences and dealing with Namor. And it wasn't like, and none of it brought any, like, little aspect of, oh, this is more a story about grief and getting over your grief than it is a superhero film. And this is more of an art, like, it really, to me, I'd say art piece, but to me, it feels like it would be one of those movies that would be, like, in Oscar contention that people are going to absolutely love, that I will never fucking see because I don't care. The only reason I saw this movie is because it said Black Panther Wakanda Forever and not the war between two civilizations or some shit like that.
Well, maybe start liking more than just superhero movies.
I do like more than just superhero movies.
I don't know, Drew.
I
Doesn't
don't
it
like
sound like he
Oscar
only
movies.
wants to see superhero movies?
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you name a movie after a superhero, it should be a superhero movie.
I mean, Captain America Winter Soldier is not a superhero movie.
It is, though.
No, it's a political thriller.
But it's got a lot more superheroing in it than this movie, and it's half as long.
Does it?
It does.
I mean, I don't feel like there's any real superheroing in Winter Soldier. There's a lot of political espionage.
There's a lot of fighting and fight sequences and combating with the Winter Soldier,
but I mean, there was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of fighting in fucking Air Force One too.
But that's not advertised as a superhero movie.
Neither are you.
I never said I was.
But that's all you want to watch.
That's not all I want to watch. I want to watch. I want to watch the movie. I want to watch. In this instance, I wanted to watch a superhero movie because that's what I paid for. Because that's what I was advertised.
I guess the real question here is: did you see this before or after all those weird crystal butt plug things you were looking up?
It was before.
Okay, so you were just like a little cranky then.
Maybe.
But also, like, what the fuck else are they going to advertise it as? Like, stop paying attention to advertising. Fuck advertising. Don't watch trailers.
True. I'm saying, Drew, I don't watch trailers, but I'm saying this in a sense as it's called Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Uh-huh.
It's a Black Panther movie. It is a movie about a superhero. It's how it's, I watched one trailer and it was the very first one where it had zero Black Panther in it. But any of the ads and any of the advertising that they did for it, anything you see has a lot of Black Panther in it. And I don't care about that shit, but I went into this movie expecting superheroing. And I got a lot more of just boring. It's fucking 2 hours and 45 minutes, man.
Look, I don't disagree with you that it was too long, but like, I did not go into this expecting superheroes because like, there were no superheroes to start it. Like, you literally had to build up to them.
Agreed.
It shouldn't have taken 2 hours and 45 minutes to build up to them. That's the problem.
And that's the thing. If they took away 45 minutes of the movie, maybe an hour of the movie, it would have been filled more with, like I said, you left with an hour left and there's really only one chapter left, and that's the final fight.
Yeah, no, look, the movie is too long. I am not disagreeing with you there.
It really wasn't a lot of what I was expecting. And
well,
it's
you just gotta tamper those expectations for Marvel movies now, man.
I mean, obviously, yeah,
they have severely run out of juice. Their series are still okay because they have a little bit of wiggle room with them, but like the big budget movies, and it's unfortunately been this way for a long time at this point. They're more about setting up what's next than about what's going on in the movie.
Mm-hmm. It's about setting up the phases, which, and this is the thing, there was a few years ago we talked about and covered, the Disney Day or whatever, or the Disney Plus Day or whatever, where they did it was like the stockholder information and what their plans for Disney Plus and whatnot. And we talked about it a little bit, and I watched a portion of what their plans were. And at one point they had said that our goal is to release everything on Disney Plus, is to not have I swear they made it seem like they don't want to do the theatrical release. They want all their revenue and all their content to come from Disney Plus, so that people subscribe to Disney Plus, and so they want to do more series. They want to get all of these big names into the series and less about the theaters. And I kind of feel like they're just trying to lean on that more by Wakanda Forever was good at best. But a lot of these films pretty much since D Plus has come out have been not their best, are on the lower part of the totem pole, in my opinion. Even Thor: Love and Thunder, I love that movie, but I can admit that it's probably not up there as one of the best. I can admit that it's mid to low tier. Really, the only one that I thought was fantastic was since Endgame would be the 2 Spider-Man movies. The rest of them, I would rate them lower than my enjoyment out of the series.
Which, that seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I also, not super big on Love and Thunder. I thought it had some good points, but it was too much comedy. It went too slapstick. And, a lot of people complain about the Marvel humor and how they make light of everything, and, that doesn't always land well, but, Love and Thunder just went too hard at it.
Yeah.
And, that's not... Especially for, the themes of that movie, it should not have been a comedy more than anything.
Yeah. And it really does feel like not only are they just these movies being built to set up the next thing, the next big thing, which is what the series should be doing, is building up the big thing and not the movies. But it also feels like they are trying to broaden what these movies are by making them more big stories and not just popcorn action films.
I mean, they've been doing that for a long time, off and on. Look at, Eternals. Eternals is more drama than anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
And, it didn't land because, you're doing that with a bunch of characters that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
You're not even really getting the comic book fans for that one because, no one fucking cares about the Eternals.
That was the only Marvel film I never saw in theaters, and I had people tell me, oh, don't go into it expecting a superhero movie, go into it expecting, a big epic or a big, long-time story and story piece, and I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I had a different idea for it based on my I had a different feeling for the movie based on my expectations, which I'm sure if I went and seen it in theaters expecting a superhero movie and getting that, I would be let down a little bit. I probably wouldn't hate it as much as everyone else did, but I would be let down. This wasn't quite what I was expecting, but the Eternals on what you might have been expecting going into it, and Wakanda Forever and what you might expect going into it, are two vastly different levels of where they would be, or where they, at least for me, Wakanda Forever was way different than what I went into it thinking it was gonna be.
Yeah, which totally valid. Are you guys ready to move on?
Sure.
I think so.
All right.
I think so.
So before we go on to this last thing, I actually have a question for Drew.
Uh-huh.
What kind of TV do you have?
I have the LG CX.
CX. Okay.
Yeah, it's the 2020 line of the OLEDs.
Okay. I was earlier I was looking, I got a notification from Best Buy that all their TV Black Friday sales are starting early. And I saw they have the LG C2 series OLEDs on sale.
I believe those are the 2022.
Probably. I haven't looked into it yet. I just simply saw it, and I'm just like, huh, that seems like it could be interesting. Because, like, RTV is, like, it's old enough that, like, it's probably time for a new one. And we're just having like, not consistent issues, but there's definitely issues with some of the streaming services and, like, the built-in Chromecast just, like, not working the way it should.
Yeah.
So, yeah, might look into that.
And yeah, the C2s are the 2022 OLED.
Okay, cool.
Talking about old tech for a second, did you guys see my tweet from, like, earlier, like, some point last week?
That your iPad finally died?
Week? Yeah. I mean, it still works, but I can't use Netflix on it, which is all it was used for.
So how do you fall asleep now?
My phone, I have it plugged in and it plays.
Man, you are going to fucking destroy your phone.
I mean, it's already a piece of shit anyway, so. No, but I mean, it plays 3 hours and it plays 3 episodes of Netflix and then turns off. That's what these phones are made for, to watch shit and to use.
Yeah, but you're just like, I don't know. I feel like that's going to just fucking destroy your phone.
I mean, that's what it's made for, though, is to watch stuff.
Is it, though? Because don't you have, like, one of, like, the cheaper model phones, or did you get, like, a good one?
I have the not the most recent Pixel, but the one before the most recent that just came, because I got it just before the new one came out.
Oh, I thought you still had, like the off-brand phone.
No, I mean, I had the 6A, which was the one I broke, and got, like, the 7 or whatever.
Right. Yeah, because, like, the 6A was, like, the, like, lower-end Pixel.
Yeah, but it would be absolutely fine to use that, because it's just made to... These phones are made to be used.
But not, like, they're not meant to just be plugged in and streaming, like, Netflix for 3 hours at a time.
It's an hour and a half.
Well, you just said 3 hours.
No, it's 3 episodes.
He started to say 3 hours, then corrected himself to 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah. I missed that. I just heard the 3 hours come out.
And it's not even an hour and a half. It's like, it's Seinfeld right now. So it's 64, 66 minutes.
Why don't you just learn to fall asleep in the fucking silence, man?
No. Fuck no. Fuck the silence, man.
Get yourself a little white noise machine.
I've tried white noise, I've tried music, and like I used to listen to Pandora going to sleep, but the breaks between songs or the ad breaks, the audio difference between the song and the ad breaks would be so bad that it would wake me up. Like if it would get quiet between songs too long when I was about to fall asleep, and that would actually wake me up to be like, I need to make sure that it didn't go into sleep mode. Or didn't ask, am I still listening? And then the song would start as my body re-wakes up to reset it.
So what happens if you, like, don't put anything on?
I mean, it takes me a lot longer to fall asleep, and I'm more in my head, and likely might not be able to sleep, because, like, it gives me anxiety. Like, I don't like the silence. I don't like quiet. It bothers me. It really does.
So, Drew, for now on when we're around Richie, total silence.
I mean, it's different. Like when I'm laying in a dark room trying to go to sleep and closing my eyes and it's absolutely silent, it gives me issues. But if we're all sitting around together and it's kind of quiet, but we're all like doing stuff and I'm doing something, it's not as stressful. It's like the combination of both the dark as well as the silence that gets me.
Now, have you considered wearing earplugs to bed instead so that you can just hear the beating of your own heart?
Fuck no. That's why I want shit to be played. There is a room. It's like a recording room or a quiet room that you can walk into, and it's so quiet that you can literally hear your heartbeat. That's how quiet.
Oh no! It is worse than that. You can hear the blood moving in your veins.
Yeah. No. Fuck no. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be in a room that quiet.
Meanwhile, I wear earplugs to go to sleep. Like, I want as little noise as possible.
I've tried wearing, like, headphones to go to sleep, and it like, I hate having things in or around my ears when I'm sleeping.
So, like, hopefully you never have to wear a CPAP machine.
Hopefully, but who knows?
But anyway.
Hey, Cobb, the C2 has built-in Stadia capabilities.
Oh, hot damn. Man, if I get it now, I can use it for a month.
Is that how much longer Stadia has?
Like they're shutting it down in January.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that seems like a deal. I do have that Stadia controller. which is it's totally useless because it doesn't pair to anything except for Stadia.
They're apparently working on that.
Oh, I haven't really paid attention. It's honestly, it's a nice controller.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, like it's got a good feel to it, and they were just giving them away for free.
Yeah, it was. I that's how I got my new. I got like a Chromecast Plus or whatever by signing up for Stadia for free, and they sent the Chromecast and the Stadia controller.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing.
And then I unsubscribed from Stadia.
Yeah, I did the same thing with my Google Home Mini. Like, I signed up for a free trial of Spotify, which then got you the Google Home Mini and then canceled Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, that was like 5 or 6 years ago. So, like, that Google Home Mini is actually pretty old at this point. But anyway, the last thing we had to talk about, I started God of War Ragnarok, little game on this PlayStation platform.
Little indie game. Probably never heard of it.
Yeah. It's not very well known. Not a lot of people playing it. I've heard about it.
Yeah, I'm only like 5 or so hours in. It's more God of War. For better or worse. The game basically, like, you're kind of picking up where you left off, so they're at least not making you like get the weapons and stuff again. But like, you start out and like Kratos can already use the Blades of Chaos and the Leviathan axe, which is nice. But like the combat does feel a little clunkier this time, and I think part of it is because by the end of 2018, like, you've expanded your skill tree a whole bunch, so like you can just do a bunch of cool shit and the combat flows better. Getting into it now, the combat just feels a little like clunkier and rougher around the edges, and some of the fights just feel a little harder than they were in the first one. But like, I feel like as I play more, it'll both, like, I will get into the combat more, and then we'll start unlocking some of those abilities that like I have that like muscle memory for still, and it'll become a little more like what I remember the game playing like.
Yeah,
because he doesn't feel as like responsive as he did in the last one, but
I mean it is a few years later, so
it seems like it's only been like a year or two at most, and like he's a fucking immortal god.
I mean, yeah, but he's also still getting older. But I don't know. I don't know how much, because isn't Atreus like significantly older, or doesn't he look significantly older?
He does not look significant. Like, he definitely looks like a kid that just hit puberty. Like, he's a little bit taller and his voice is a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
It's been cool so far though. Like, they very quickly reintroduce you to a lot of like the characters that were in the first one. So, Mimir, like the head that talks to you the whole first game, he still hangs out with you. Like, every time you go anywhere, you fucking clip him to your belt. You still, Brock and Sindri, the two dwarves that kind of like help outfit you with stuff, are still involved. They help you very early on and, help you start to unlock like the gateway things. That is one minor complaint. Like, they still do the like invisible loading behind those like silly gateways where like, I don't know if you remember these, Rich, but like when you were like fast traveling, you'd like enter that like door in the weird stone archway, and then you would basically run as much or as little as you wanted. Like, if you just stood there and didn't move and waited a minute and then turned around, the door would appear behind you. Yeah,
you would run along the world tree, and as you ran, it would load while you're running around.
Yeah, and like, you could run or not run, and it would still eventually load and give you the doorway to leave. They still have that, and like, why?
Well, I mean, if it still has to load a region.
Yeah, but like, just give me no one liked that in the first one. Just give me a regular fucking load screen, especially when, like, we have seen in other titles, this console can load things without that much of a load time. And like, this still has like a significant load time, and then in those regions, they still have like hidden load times where like, you will purposely like slow down to go through like a little crawl space to come out into the next open area. Mm-hmm. It's like they didn't optimize the game for the hardware because it's still on the PS4 also.
That's probably what it is. They made it so it was accustomed to the PS4 as well.
And like,
which I don't blame them for that. Like,
I do a little bit. Like, that's a bummer. Like, fucking get more of your PS5s out there so that you can stop making these like big budget games for fucking 10-year-old hardware.
Yeah, I agree, but at least they're still trying to like make sure their fans can get these games, because I mean, if they didn't, then this game wouldn't have the sales it has. It wouldn't be as big as it is, and then we probably might not we probably would eventually get another one, but it might take even longer at this point.
Yeah, and like hopefully like they don't like I'm hoping this one ends like the Norse god stuff, and if they do another God of War, they move on to something else. Because this one very early on they introduced like Thor and Odin, which like both of them seem interesting. Right now I'm in the first realm that you travel to, because it's Thimble Winter, so it's like the winter that happens before Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like this game's weird. Like parts of it, stuff looks incredible, but then other things like don't look all that good. It's very weird. Like just how drastically different certain things can come off. Like there are some wolves in the beginning of the game. And at one point, like they're not like things you're fighting. Like they're literally like your pets essentially. And like at one point, like Atreus is literally like sitting on the ground with one of the wolves, and just like the fur texture and like the face on it and stuff like that, like it just seems completely off when you look at like the character models and the textures of everything else around it. It's like they put the wolf in last and didn't have enough time to make it look good. Like it looks good, it just doesn't look as good as everything around it. It's weird. But like otherwise, like the game, like so far, like the combat is still like decent combat. It's just like I said, it feels just a little clunkier than it did before. Some of the enemies, I remember later enemies having like basically like health shields, like where you'd have to hit them with a certain thing to then be able to do damage to them.
Yeah,
and
I think that was throughout the entire game.
See, I thought that didn't happen until later on in the game.
No, because at the beginning, you had the axe and you had the hand, or his arm, like his hands, and so like some enemies you would have to hit them with the axe, and then to be able to deal damage, and some enemies you would have to like disarm them or take their something away by using his arms.
No, not like not like they're blocking me. Like there are certain enemies that are like right out the gate, they are resistant to one of your weapons. So like you have to actively like swap between them and use the special abilities like right out of the gate, which isn't a bad thing. Like they're giving you the weapons up front, so they want you to use them and get used to them. It's just, it felt like a difficulty spike kind of like right out of the gate that like I just was not expecting.
I mean, if it was later in the first one, it's because you don't get the Blades of Chaos until halfway through.
That's fair. Yeah, because like there are enemies that like I guess they're like ice based. So like if you hit them with anything other than the blades when they're on fire, you have to hit them a whole bunch to basically stun them before you can do any damage to them.
Yeah.
But like Atreus is actually useful right off the bat. Like very quickly it tells you like, hey, hit X and he will shoot whatever you're facing. Like you have 4 shots with him off the bat, and within the first like 3 hours they're like, hey, here's an upgrade for him. Like now he can shoot like magic arrows at things. So like that was cool. And there's, there's like the environmental stuff you can do where you can grab a, like certain pillars and just pick them up and like smash a bad guy with them. Being able to control Atreus right away and have him just like shoot people from far away, lets you build up like the stagger easier so that you can just do like the one-hit finishers. So like it still has all that. The axe is definitely more fun to use still, just because you do have that, like, you can throw it, you can charge it up before you throw it so it gets embedded in the enemies, all that sort of thing. You've got all the skill trees again and all the armors and everything, so it's definitely got all those RPG elements to them, which definitely made the first one a little bit more interesting without it being like too much, and it seems like that's going to be similar here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to sneeze. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. It has not like grabbed me the way the first one did. Like I honestly bought the first one on kind of a whim. Like I had never really cared about the God of War games, and like that 2018 one was just getting a lot of good buzz. So I'm like, okay, like I'll give it a shot, and like ended up just like clicking with it and just playing a lot of it very quickly. This one, it's like I played like a little bit Saturday, a little bit Sunday, and Friday, I think. Thursday. It's either Thursday or Friday. Like I played over the weekend and then like one of the 2 days in the week last week. And like I haven't really gone back to it since then, just because like I've had other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to playing it. I've been doing everything I can to avoid spoilers. I'm already seeing fucking TikTok and Instagram pages just taking full-on cutscenes and posting them on there like, hey, check out this cool thing that happens in God of War. I'm like, fuck you, man. Not even giving me a spoiler tag or anything. And yeah, I want to play it. I want to play it. It looks amazing, but it's going to be I I made the choice to wait for Pokemon instead of getting this. Plus, also trying to get a capture card.
Well, stop trying to get a capture card and just get a capture card.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that kind of money.
But
they
might
be
on sale next week.
They might be, and it's definitely an option because I forgot that Twitch changed out their payout method to $50 instead of $100. So if things work the way it should be the way it's been, I should be getting paid monthly at this point. It's only $50, but still $50. I should be able to. I got paid this month from last month. Plus, they have a new incentive program potentially. I think that might actually make me more money. With little additional effort, which is nice.
I mean, for what it's worth, the Elgato HD60S Plus, only $160 right now, on sale from $180.
When I was looking at them, they were like, that one was like $90.
It was not this one then.
No, it was like I think it was that one or maybe the tier under that was like, one of them was like 50% off. I don't remember which one, but that was like,
probably the tier under it, because there is one below that is a little cheaper right now. Mm-hmm. It's not on sale at the moment, though.
Yeah. But yeah.
Or just splurge, get the Elgato HD60X, which will do 1080 60 HDR or 4K 30. It's only $200.
My monitor doesn't even do 4K.
Yeah, but your stream could.
My viewers will have a better view for the game than I will.
I mean, that's not actually true either, because I'm pretty sure that Twitch doesn't do 4K.
No, they don't. They can only really go up to 1080.
Yeah, so it's literally it's really if you're capturing and then uploading to YouTube, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is just at that point, like, just do 1080. Like, save yourself the hard drive space.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so far I'm enjoying God of War. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how soon I'm going to finish it. Because it's like a 20 to 30 hour game from what I've heard.
Oh yeah, it's open world, so you're going to be able to go all over the place. You're going to want to be a completionist and collect everything. Or
we both know I don't do that bullshit.
I know you're not going to do any of the combat stuff, because I'm sure the Valkyries and shit are in it similarly.
No, you killed them all.
There's still something in there in a sense of Valkyrie. I know that.
Oh yeah, I mean there will definitely be, but somebody makes reference at the beginning of the game, which I thought was funny. Like, the canonical ending of the first God of, like, the 2018 God of War is that Kratos killed all the Valkyries and the Valkyrie Queen, because the character goes, "Oh, so you're the one that killed the Valkyrie Queen."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like, there were 100. Like, I don't care about the side stuff. Like, I want to go through the story. So, like,
mm-hmm.
You figure it's going to be like a 25-hour game for me. And I'm fine with that. Like, that is plenty of game. But also, like, Pokemon comes out on Friday. So
yeah.
I'm going to end up getting that.
That's the big thing, is Pokemon comes out, and I want to put more time into Pokemon than I do into God of War. I've been playing such dark games that I need some.
I mean, like, I'm sure I'm going to be disappointed with Pokemon, but I will find reasons to praise it because I'm a fucking disaster. But
I don't know. Like, I don't have my hopes set too high on, like, this one being groundbreaking or anything, but I do. My hope they are a little bit higher than, like, normally for a Pokemon game, because, like, I'm just super interested in, like, truly how open the game may be. Like, I want to know, like, how open it may be. I'm excited to see that. I want to see, like, the rest of the world, and, like, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that really intrigues me about this that, like, has piqued my interest more in a Pokemon game than any of these.
Which, yeah, like I'm interested, but also it's like, I still don't know what version I feel like getting. I don't really care for any of the starters, especially after seeing what they all evolve into.
Yeah, but does the starter really affect everything else to where it's going to disappoint you?
Yeah, because at least the first, like, 4 hours of the game, I'm stuck with that little shit, and they all fucking suck.
No, I'm sure you can easily get rid of them before the second hour of the game. I'm sure before the end of the second hour.
Maybe. It depends what the wild Pokemon are like in the starting areas.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how open the world actually is. Like,
look, it's a Pokemon game. It's not going to be open world. They call it open world. I mean, it's going to be pseudo open world.
They're saying that you can do gym battles in any order. They're saying you can do any of the 3 storylines in any order. Like not do the storyline in any order, but like do any of them 3 right from the get-go. Like you don't have to go a specific way, you don't have to go a specific route, you can do whichever one you want to do. Like they're saying that like it is open. Like the entire map is loaded, just like in like a Breath of the Wild or whatever. Once you load up, like I don't think it's region based like Sword and Shield was. But I might be wrong on some of this. I haven't looked at any. Like the modders and emulators have already gotten the game on their PCs and have been playing it for like a week or two. So I don't know. I think it's I have a little bit more like intrigue and interest because based on what they're saying, like is it truly what they're saying, or like you said, Cobb, are they just pulling the wool over our eyes and we're going to go to the final gym leader and he's like, oh, well, see, you're not at level, so you can't battle this gym. Go to this one who's at your level.
See, that's the thing. I think you're going to be able to go to them, but from what they've said, they're not scaling them. So they're either all going to be low level and no challenge, or they're going to scale ads like for the order you're supposed to do them in. So it's either going to be like the Breath of the Wild Shrine Beasts, where there's no challenge to any of them because you can do them in any order. Or there's going to be a specific order that you should do them in, and if you go out of order, some are going to be too hard to do at all, and others will eventually just be too easy to do.
Or maybe, or maybe level doesn't matter in this one, except for to evolve, and a level 10 fighting a level 70 could actually might be able to hold up. Who knows?
Absolutely not. This is the Pokemon company. They are not that innovative.
But how? I don't even know how that would work, really.
I don't know. This is what I'm like. I don't know because I have not looked into it. I have not gotten the emulators to play it. This is what is really intriguing me of how this is going to work. If they truly aren't having their levels matched, and you can take the gym leaders in any order, is there a level minimum you need to actually do all the gyms? Are they all the same level?
And that's what I just said. They might just all be the same.
I doubt they would all be a low level. They'd probably be a mid level.
They could even do what some MMOs do, and your Pokemon scale to the gym leader.
Well, that's if you were to battle in PvP, all Pokemon are level 50.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that they did that when you do online battles.
Yeah, so they could scale them to that. The gym leaders themselves aren't scaled because if you're
scale to a set level with the gym leader.
They could absolutely be that. Your Pokemon are still technically going to be weaker because they don't have the EV values that they would have at that time. They don't have the abilities that they would have at that time. They are just their base level 50 and nothing else without the abilities and whatnot. So they're still weaker, and the fight might be harder, but that could be what they ended up doing. Because I'm not looking into it because I don't want that information until I play it. I don't know, and I don't want to know until I get there.
Which, valid. Hey Drew, you see Newfound Glory's having an acoustic tour next year?
Yep. Probably buying tickets tomorrow.
To the Keswick Theater one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do they go on sale tomorrow?
Yeah. At least there's a pre-sale that I have an email for. I can send you the code. I'm pretty sure it was just NFG, but also Flogging Molly and Anti-Flag are going on tour together.
Again?
That also goes on sale tomorrow.
I did see an email earlier about a Flogging Molly tour.
Yeah.
I didn't see that it was with Anti-Flag. They toured together in 2018. I saw them at the Electric Factory.
Yeah, they're playing Atlantic City and Bethlehem, so probably going to do the Atlantic City.
Yeah, both of those are so far away and suck.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Anti-Flag puts on a really good show, though. I like that. And so does Flogging Molly.
Yeah, I saw Anti-Flag last December at the upstairs at the Fillmore.
Okay. Yeah, they're a fun time. I like them. But I think that's probably a show unless either you guys have anything else to talk about.
Just real quick, did you guys see the Game Award Game of the Year nominees?
Yeah, it's going to be God of War.
It's going to be Elden Ring.
Yeah, I know.
Jeff Keighley's going to weigh that thing to Elden Ring no matter what.
It better not be fucking Elden Ring. That game
Dude,
doesn't serve as much
Elden-
praise as it got.
Elden Ring is also nominated for Best Narrative or something like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It has no narrative. Oh my god, I hate that. I hate it. No, when I saw it, I heard it, that God of War and Plague Tale are in line for Game of the Year. Plague Tale is about a month old, and God of War is less than a week old.
So?
And it's nominated, and I'm just like, that's bonkers.
So the nominations all come from media outlets that have all had God of War for several weeks at this point.
But voting comes from players.
Only that it's
yeah.
a skewed voting, so they take the tallies of the like general public, and that is like one portion of the vote.
Yeah, that's like a vote.
Yeah,
2 million people get one vote, and then all the outlets get all the other votes.
It's very much like the Academy Awards, where the voting committee gets the votes. Like the voting committee, they like every outlet submits their like 6 nominees for each category, and then those nominees get tallied, and like the best 4, like the 4 from each category that had the most nominations get put on the ballot, and then our like public votes are like 1%, and then the media outlets make up the bulk majority of it.
I mean, not gonna lie, I forgot there was even a public vote on the Game Awards.
Yeah, you know what was cool though, for the content creator of the year, Nibelheim is on there. The guy on Twitter that used to like tweet out news and stuff, who I'm pretty sure shut down his Twitter after all the Elon Musk stuff.
Right. Okay.
So like, I hope they win. They won't, because a bunch of streamers I've never heard of are on there, including somebody that's friends with Hassan. So almost definitely going to be that guy. But yeah, fucking Game Awards. It's honest. It's a fun show to watch like the next day, like to skip through all like the bullshit in the VOD and like see who wins the awards and like see all the reveals and stuff. All right, good time, guys.
Yeah,
good job. Next week, before I forget, is book club. So we're watching Young Frankenstein, the Mel Brooks classic, as it were. And then if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you cannot support us there with dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcasting platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, a whole bunch of other places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps a whole bunch. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And then, I will be at Anime NYC this coming weekend on Friday and Saturday. So I'm sure, Eric is going with me on Saturday. So if there's any cool cosplays and stuff, I'm sure she will post them to the Instagram. And then, Rich, you have your normal streaming schedule?
Oh, yeah. Twitch.tv/b_walnuts. On Thursday, the 17th, when this comes out, I will most likely be beating Plague Tale Requiem. And then I will be doing a midday stream on Friday with Pokemon, and then probably a couple of other long streams throughout the weekend. It's going to be all Pokemon for the next couple of weeks, except for my once-a-week Monster Hunter streams, which I'll probably skip next week since the new title update comes out on Thursday. So I'll do that the week instead. Just skip it the whole.
Yeah. And don't forget, if Richie is not streaming by 2 p.m. EST, which is European Standard Time.
It's Eastern Standard Time.
Yep, European Standard Time. You go into his chat when he is finally streaming, and you say the word Absol, and he will subscribe you for a year to his channel.
No, it's just a 1 month free sub.
I remember you saying a year earlier.
I heard a year. I heard a year as well.
I get all my money from ads, so like I can't be giving away years because no one else subs anymore. So I get 15 subs a month, and
I have given you 2 of my Twitch Prime subs.
That's not enough.
I gave you bits.
That was probably like 60 cents.
I've used channel points.
That doesn't give me money.
But it helps you hydrate and do and exercise.
But it doesn't give me money.
That's not my problem. But
he's right.
You know what? Actually, just to fucking call you out. I gave you a Twitch Prime thing and you fucking ignored it.
No. I wouldn't have ignored it if I saw it on there and you shared it. I would have said, hey, thank you for it. But if you didn't share it, then I didn't know that it happened.
I don't know what sharing it means. I clicked subscribe with Twitch Prime, and then you fucking ignored me.
Was I streaming?
You were.
And
I don't think you can sub when they're not active.
You can.
You can.
Oh, you can now? Okay.
Yeah.
But, because, like, I sub, I have resubs on a few streamers. Or, like, one streamer. And so, like, it'll sub me even if they're not live that day. But the next time I go on there, even if I'm not watching, it'll sub me. But when I go on there, it'll say, do you want to share that you're subbed for the X amount of months and how many months in a row? Like, did you share it in the chat when you subbed? Did it ask you if you wanted to share your...
So, when you're actively watching and hit subscribe, that's it. That's the end of the thing. It doesn't ask you to do shit.
No, it does in the chat if the person is live, but I never do that.
I've never seen it ask me to do a thing.
If I didn't get a sub notification on stream saying somebody subbed and they didn't share it in chat, then I don't know that it.
You need to fix your notifications then, because you apparently didn't get a notification when I subbed to you.
When was this?
I don't know. The last time I gave you a Twitch Prime sub. Look at your fucking. Don't you get like analytics or something?
I can't find out when somebody subbed to me last, though.
Oh, that's stupid. Those are shitty analytics.
It doesn't tell you, like, who subbed for how long. It just tells me how many people I have subbed right now.
Here, let me see.
And my monthly subs.
I'm assuming it was October 29th, because it says my benefits end November 29th.
What was I playing on October 29th?
Oh, Resident Evil.
Obviously, I was playing Resident Evil 8. It was my second session. I didn't get a notification.
Yeah, I know, because you ignored it.
Me.
I hopped in there. You seemed to be having a rough time. I gave you my Prime sub that I could have used on somebody I actually watch, and you ignored me.
I didn't get any sort of, like, and my sub notifications work. I've gotten a resub recently.
Worst streamer ever.
So, you did it wrong, or it didn't notify me. I don't know. So, apparently,
someone needs a second monitor.
Yeah.
Someone needs to just set up one of his work monitors for his fucking streaming.
That would not help in this scenario. Because all of my notification things that I see would have said, so-and-so subscribed, or you would have heard my notification go off of Godzilla roaring. It's Proto Man's theme whenever somebody subscribes. It would have played and said, so-and-so subscribed or resubscribed. I did not get any of that. You can go back and watch my October 29th stream.
Which means your things are broken and you ignored me.
But I got one recently.
Well, they were broken on October 29th is what I'm telling you.
I didn't ignore you. I just didn't know it happened.
You should keep better track of your subscriptions.
This isn't the first time you guys have, like you or Erica have subbed and it didn't give me notifications. During my subathon, I think she subbed and it didn't like notify me properly or it didn't work properly.
You need to get better streaming notifications.
Talk to Twitch. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just Twitch being shitty.
Just get better is what I'm saying.
That's just Twitch being shitty.
But that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See you.
Bye.